might know that one. Just let me know when you give up.
See how they did? It was all songs by the one guy.
What?
Right? This Black Keys?
Yeah.
But then they do an album, like a whole album of one guy's songs.
This is that album.
Okay.
Do you know who that album is?
I didn't.
Junior
No.
Kimbrough.
Okay.
Blues?
I knew of him only because of that.
Yeah. Okay. I like the version that they did of his song, Do the Rump. That's a good one. Should be live less than a minute.
Are you
Do the
good?
rump, do rump.
Are you good beer-wise? Should we get our backups before we go?
Get some beer.
Give me a glass of milk in a dirty glass. You have nipples, right?
I've got nipples, Greg.
6 seconds.
Okay, on me. Throwing it up on the
20
Swizzy.
seconds. Well, at least for us. Hey, guys. This is Emergency Exit Podcast. We are getting started once again. You know how we do here.
How do we do?
We do.
How do you do?
I'm doing do.
Oh.
We do wack a do.
You do the do?
I can do.
We
I can
also
do,
do
I
it
can
all.
Do, I can do. I can do. I can do.
Whoa.
See you at Roger Miller. I was going Mountain Dew. Do the do?
Do to do. Do the do to do. Keep. Is that music still playing?
Do the Humpty Hump?
You don't have to turn that down.
All right, there you go.
We're gonna try to get this
This
going
is just,
on here.
don't worry, listeners. This is just called
Give us a ring.
Stream
It's
of Conscious.
830-875-0637. We are going to be live here in just a moment. We are live right now, but we're going to be even liver here in a second.
There are levels to how live you can be.
You're just one step below Ultimate Live, which is where we're going to be once you get to Classic Live, which is like when you're on the air.
Is that for our Patreon members?
Yes, those are for the paid members. Give us a call, 830-875-0637. Why isn't this popping up for me, man?
$5 level of Patreon gets you the special.
Fucking ridiculous. Here it
where
is.
we're sitting around in our underwear. Because everybody wants to see that.
All right. Let's get this show on the road.
Let's show this road. Why don't we do it in the road?
It's dirty.
Because then you might get run over by cars.
Maybe.
All right, you can turn that. I'll fade it out.
Oh, well, that was fun.
No? No, you won't?
Yeah.
You are now listening to
Our contestant is Carlos. His friends call him Los. Los?
That's right.
I do tend to explode only when by myself.
What's the big deal that
She
she
touched
did
a man's trash can.
that? Bro.
Right now, I'm committing a Schedule 1 felony. Allegedly. It's bullshit.
He's the mole, dude. He's got the mole in the base of his cock, dude. He's fucking home like a hole, like a hole.
Mom, you are a horrible human being. You know what? Why don't you die from breast cancer or something?
Wow.
No, you take that back.
That's usually it's. Hey, I'm so and so, blah blah blah. I'm also a Mormon.
But in the event of an emergency, your regular exit might not be the quickest or safest way out.
This emergency exit is painted on.
There's no way out. There's no way out.
Oh, that's right. Now is the time to open your mind. In our search for the unknown, who knows what we will find? This is Emergency Exit.
Find jack shit.
This is episode 64, and today is January 29th, 2018. We are broadcasting from our floating tin can far above the world. I am your host, Los. With me, as always, is Nick, the Passion Rider.
Fucking A.
That's right. And Brandon, the Hard Hat Mitchell.
I am here.
Welcome, welcome. Hey,
Consider it a source of pride that I always get the first F-bomb every episode.
You
Really?
do? Do you?
I'm pretty sure I do.
I don't know.
I don't fucking know
I feel
about
like
that.
I would. Damn it! So now it might be him. It's definitely not me then.
Now
Well,
you're-
I mean, I dropped it
Now you're last.
during
Fuck.
my introduction, so like,
Well,
All right.
Yeah,
welcome once
definitely
again
first.
to the show, everybody.
nailed it.
We have downloads in almost all the states. There's only 12 missing. So if I did my math right, there should be a few more states we have left. We need to get you,
didn't
telling
do-
a friend.
You literally did no math right there.
I did no math.
Zero math.
Call us or text us
Spread
live.
the word like wildfire.
Wildflyer.
Wildflyer, so we can get to those other states.
Dang, will tell you what.
Dangle.
Give us, give them our number. The number here on the tin can is 830-875. That's 0637. Once again, that's 830-875-0637. We're going to get a much easier to say phone number in the future, something that's got numbers or letters in it so that we can spell words. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
All right.
makes sense.
So we'll take your phone calls as they come. That's how we do it. So on today's show, we will get a taste of a new podcast we're working on when our very own The Passion Nick-splains something near and dear to his heart. Rock and roll conspiracy
That's
theories.
right. Fucking rock and roll conspiracies.
It's going to be freaking sweet, dog. Later, we will bring you the news. But first, the Hard Hat has some beef.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're gonna hear about it.
What's up, man?
All right, man. So we it seems like we did this, fairly recently. I got some beef. If
Yeah, about the trash cans. I
yeah,
believe.
man. Hey, update on the trash can though. Hasn't happened again.
Fucking A.
Hell yes. All right.
What did you do differently?
I just rode this one out.
You wrote it out.
Yeah.
She stopped doing it?
Yeah, I guess it was just a one time. I guess she was just feeling very generous that one time.
All right.
Yeah. So if you guys can't tell, I got this obvious lisp that you can't, you can hear
Oh,
S's
really?
and P's and yeah.
It's just your sibilance is all fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not wasted. I'm not having a stroke. I'm glad you guys were concerned about that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm actually at this show now. I actually have a little bit less wisdom than when I woke up this morning. I'm to be exact one.
Sweet. So we've almost caught up to him, Los. He just needs to lose a little bit more.
Just a little bit.
Almost.
Just a little bit.
I happen to have both mine, and they're grown in, and they're working just fine.
Yeah, see, not so lucky for me. My wisdom tooth, obviously, just way back in my mouth, came in just fine, but hard to brush, hard to keep. So developed a little bit of a cavity, started giving me some pain. Went to the dentist, said, hey, it's got to come out. And this is where I got my beef, all right? First thing I do when they take me back into the room, I just see the entire tray with all the fucking torturous devices they're about to enter into my mouth. And
All the
violate
hooks and prods
everything.
and
It's like,
pointy things.
I was like, first of all, why y'all gotta have that right there? Like, that just makes me want to. I haven't even sat down. I'm just gonna turn around, walk back out. No,
Nope.
I'll Castaway style. Just give me an ice skate and a rock or a coconut. It was a coconut.
Ugh.
Yeah, but man, that's intimidating, don't you guys think?
Yeah.
You've had your wisdom tooth, or at least one removed, haven't you?
No, I have them
Never.
both. The third molars are in there.
I know.
about you?
I got all mine.
So I'm the only one.
You're the only one.
All right, man. Don't let
Sorry.
them go bad.
Sorry
Don't let
about
'em
that,
go
my
bad.
friend.
So yeah, that's I don't know, man. I feel like they could have them tucked away in a drawer.
Right.
You know,
And once
under
you're
the
like down
chair.
in the chair, maybe with a bit of gas on, then set it all over here. Not necessarily.
It's out of view, out of sight, out of mind.
It's just common courtesy. Don't show me these torture devices right away. I'm not fucking Rambo. You're not pressing me for information.
Well, apparently
the
this
shit
guy
out of my
thought he
face.
was. But
I'm with you on
funny you mentioned gas because
Because you have some.
well, no, but I did get the nitrous, the laughing gas. Everybody
Right.
knows this is the laughing gas.
We've all seen Lethal Weapon 4.
It ain't funny.
I
I don't know why everybody call it laughing. I wasn't laughing.
Okay.
I
All right.
was, it's a scam. As far as I'm concerned, I got scammed. I done got. they put it on there like, oh yeah, we're gonna give you a couple minutes, let the of course the topical stuff, and then after they give you the injection, that's a whole other level of pain right there, man. I felt it like in my eyeball. Yeah, like, just a sharp. Oh, like I actually let out a good. It got me, man. It got me. But the gas, man, that didn't do a goddamn thing. Like nitrous, the red flag should have been up when it was like, okay, nitrous. That's used to make cars go fast, not make you numb and less pain. At least that's right. So that should have been my first red flag. So I done got. They sold me some snake oil. Is what they did.
Did you at least feel it? I mean, a little bit. Were you like a little high?
No, I mean, I may or may not have been a little high when I got there.
Well, I was gonna say maybe you were, but then the tooth attacks happened, and it just
nullified
any sort of cloud that gas could have given was just blown away by a high-powered fan of pain.
You know, do you think?
See that analogy? That was good.
I know that they probably get this a lot, but I wanted to schedule an appointment to see the dentist, and I wanted to specifically be at 2:30 so that I could use the silly joke of 2:30. My 2:30.
That's terrible, man. That's terrible.
All right.
No, all in all, you guys did a great job. Doctor, what was his name? Tristan, I believe.
It's my nephew's name. I didn't know
he did a good job, except they kind of fuck with you halfway through. You think they're done, and apparently no. He just locked something onto it to like lift it a little bit. And then they go get an X-ray of it to make sure it didn't separate at the root. Like, that was pretty painful enough, and they did all that, and they walked out, and I was like, oh, shit, they're done. They're going to X-ray, and then I'm going to be walking out of here. Nope, they come back. They're like, all right, let's get that tooth out. And I'm like, whoa,
what the fuck was all that
it's
then?
still in there?
Jesus.
Yeah, it's,
Beef,
so don't let them fool you like that. But dentists, you guys, are they really doctors? I mean, they're like chiropractors. It's like,
I would just think that they're a bit more legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they know how to keep your mouth clean and all that shit.
I guess so, yeah.
I mean, you could definitely die if you don't get your, if something gets infected. I mean, there's a bit more level of seriousness to them than chiropractors. I mean, I went to a chiropractor once, and I got to say, I'm glad that I did, but I think generally it's not as big a deal, I guess, as people make it out to be.
Yeah.
Like, stretch more often or do yoga or something. I don't know.
Just be active.
Yeah. You know, like I slipped and fell on some cement stairs and fucked my back up, so I needed to get.
I thought you said you slipped on some semen.
Yes.
Well, he didn't say that the stairs weren't covered.
Yeah.
Semen stairs.
Semen stairs.
Man. Yeah, beef. I've been going to the dentist, and it's not been too bad. It is pretty shitty, but I've been only getting the topical stuff.
You haven't had anything pulled yet. You just had the just the scraping.
Fortunately for me, I don't need that. I just need to make sure it's clean and all that crap, and I'm doing great.
Told once when I was like 12 or so that I was going to have to get my wisdom teeth pulled within the next couple of years.
I heard that
and I just
too.
didn't go to the dentist for a long time, and I finally something was hurting. I was like, oh fuck, it's time.
Yep.
And they're like, no, you just something got infected, and they gave me some antibiotics for a while, and it went away. And
that's right.
Then I've gone a few times since then, and it's never come up. So I think that one dentist when I was a kid was just trying to get some more money out of my folks.
Oh, they always are.
Oh, of course. They got to pay for that expensive X-ray that they use. Now they got handheld ones that can just go up to you and just like, tuk, 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 tuk.
Yeah.
Like
and then they got
like
ones that
scanners at the fucking supermarket.
Yeah, it's like a scanner at a supermarket. It's this big old thing, and usually it used to be where you still have to wear the lead vest and everything, but it was this big old thing you laid on and they take pictures. But now it's
so glad that sort of radioactivity is that mobile and convenient.
They've got this panoramic one you bite down something, and this panoramic thing just goes, and then it gets a panoramic of your.
Yeah, not this office. They had to take like 20 pictures. Just open your mouth, reposition the thing, bite down.
I'm surprised that they weren't still using ice skates and coconuts.
That's the old school way. Yeah, and they have to walk out like, hey, where are you going? I have to be here.
Fuck you, man. You're staying in here with me, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, any more beef, my man?
That's it for now, man. It was a pretty
you don't
good
sound
week
too
for
bad.
Me. Nah, I can feel my mouth now.
He was talking like this earlier when he had the gauze in.
Yeah, it was bad.
But I tell you what, sound like an old Western man. Dang,
got me a big old pinch of chew.
Oh yeah, he's chawing.
Chawing, that's what it sounded like. Well, hey, let's. I want to tell you guys about the new podcast we're starting here soon. It's going to be called Nick-splains, and it's basically...
Since we have a whole channel now, we could do multiple shows.
And we are doing the Austin Official Hair Club podcast, and we've got Nick-splains going to be on there, and that one is going to be a more in-depth version of what we're going to be doing today. But essentially, it's Nick explaining something to you, more like the everyday man who might, and he knows a lot about rock and roll this time, and that's what he's gonna be talking about.
Yeah.
So let's hop right into a little Nick-splainage.
All right. Thank you, Los, for that. And thanks, George Harrison, for the theme song. Came back from the grave just for that. Cost us $3,000 worth every
He
penny.
was cheap for $3,000.
I know. I couldn't believe it. He's a fucking Beatle, for God's sakes.
I really thought he would,
Well, you don't need a lot of money when you're dead.
Well, he didn't look that dead.
He's pretty well preserved.
It did smell like formaldehyde. It was like, dude, he smells like rubbing alcohol straight up.
Yeah, well,
He was still really good looking, though, man. And he had a mullet still. He still rocked the mullet, which was really weird.
Well, yeah, he hasn't been not a lot of opportunities for haircuts.
I don't think he
in
can
the
get
grave.
haircuts, man. It's just gross. You cut. What if
Right.
you can accidentally pull a scalp off if you?
I mean, you've seen enough movies about the afterlife. However you die, that's how you are.
Yep, that's
for eternity. Mm-hmm. So you got to think every time you get dressed in the morning. If I happen to die, this is what my ghost is going to look like.
Fuck,
forever.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Will you also be wearing those clothes though?
Yeah.
So your clothes are going to become ghosts as well.
Apparently, I mean, according to lore.
Okay.
Either that or everybody magically gets a
new
sheet to
wardrobe?
hang over themselves.
Well, I just don't think that. Okay, I want to imagine. I don't want to see you naked. That's the thing. But if you're going to come back as a ghost, at least wear some sheets or something. Yeah.
Cover
Just
your
everybody
dignity.
go toga all the time.
Just
So
grow an
that
extra fat bush so it'll cover it up. That's the one thing
Who
I'd be
says I
worried
haven't
about.
already?
That's the one thing I think I'd worry about. You have a big giant bush?
That's the one thing you're worried about is my bush?
No. One thing I would be worried about is like
I'm more worried about Gavin Rosdale's bush.
being around as a ghost. Gavin Rosdale?
Bush. His band was Bush. Never
I
mind.
thought you. Okay, well you. Anyway, since you're doing Nick-spiracies here,
Yeah, come on. All right, so we've got. I've got a couple of examples. I had to dial it down because there were quite a few of them, and I picked two that were kind of lighthearted. They don't dive too deep into government shit. Just to dip our toes in the water.
just gets a little governmenty.
Just the tip.
Just
It's like governmental,
governmental, government light.
government platinum, government
100? What are we doing here?
I don't know.
government.
All
Clear.
right, so the '60s were known for drug use,
Yeah,
rock and roll,
that's right.
and open sexuality.
My man.
Yeah.
Nothing like personified at Woodstock, where I think 2 babies were born, but at least a dozen were made.
You say Woodstock?
That's where all those rich Republicans go up and stand.
No, there was not a single Republican at Woodstock. There was not a fucking one. So anyway, the Beatles were the good ones. Like, they were family friendly. You were allowed to watch them on TV. Everything was great. They were all cool and shook their heads and wore suits and whatever. Now the Stones, on the other hand, were the fucking devil.
Yeah, they were the opposite.
The American press used the phrase moral turpitude.
It's too much sexiness. That's what happened.
Yeah, I mean,
They were open with
honestly, if you were to look at pictures of the two bands, I would rather fuck the Beatles because the Stones just have always looked like they went through a wood chipper or something. Like, they've always looked rough.
Like they've just been sitting in water.
Yeah. But anyway, they were the one like openly doing drugs, and their songs had blatant sexy lyrics, and it was let's spend the night together and stuff like.
Oh, you can't say that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, not on my really big
Come a long
show.
way.
So anyway, both sides of the Atlantic were just shocked and appalled at the Stones' behavior, both on and off the stage. Now, in 1967, the Stones got raided.
Got rated like rated R?
No,
Like they have a movie
like the raid, like raided.
Oh, like the roach spray.
Yes, they got sprayed
raided.
with insecticide.
Oh fuck, man.
However, only Mick and Keith got in trouble. That seems a bit suspicious. So Philip Norman, who's a biographer, he wrote books on the Beatles, Stones, Buddy Holly, Elton John, many others. He claims that the FBI was behind the raid. And it was a ploy by them to prevent the Stones from getting visas and ever entering and touring the United States.
Wait, so how did he find all this out?
Man, he's the one, like, ran around with them and heard, like, he's heard from a lot of the people themselves.
So
now the FBI thing he never verified. This is what he thought. This is his theory.
Okay.
So anyway, it was aimed at keeping them out of the U.S. Now they still tour the U.S. fucking every year, so obviously this didn't work out. But the fact that the FBI, which is an internal thing, like you would think CIA does more
that kind of thing,
international espionage stuff. So why the FBI, an internal thing, gives a fuck about a band across the ocean, but they were so concerned.
Well, what year was this?
67.
Was that Hoover?
I was probably. I'm sure that was still Hoover because
that whippersnapper.
Hoover hated fucking Lennon too. So I mean, that's a story for another day, another conspiracy. So, according to Philip Norman's theory, it all began with a Canadian drug dealer. Who would have ever thought those three words would go together?
Canadian drug dealer.
Canadian drug dealer.
I could think of one right off my back. Fucking right, dude.
Oh, I know. They're dirty, rotten, filthy.
Yes, the Trailer Park Boys.
Fuck, rakers.
Okay. So Canadian drug dealer David Snyderman, also known as
Snyderman.
Acid King Dave.
David Snyderman?
Fucking awesome name, Acid King Dave.
My man.
So he was stopped at Heathrow Airport in London. And they found a bunch of drugs on him. And he thought, well, fuck, this is it. Getting arrested, deported. But instead...
That a bitch.
Yes, it is, Acid King. Instead, in his words, he ended up talking to some heavy guys. I don't think he meant weight.
Heavy guys.
Some heavy guys.
Like some serious, secretive, important fucking dudes. So instead of deporting him and taking the drugs, they offered him a deal.
Okay.
Oh, he flipped.
He would be allowed to go if he could infiltrate the Stones' circle, get them on drugs. That's really hard to fucking do. And then let the police know so that they could bust them.
Okay. He just had to be.
So this, according to him, he said that these guys came and said, "We're going to let you go if you do this." So he himself has said that. So in February of 1967, Acid King Snyderman set up a meeting with Keith Richards, for those two people who don't know who that is. Like, there's got to be only like two people in the whole fucking world who don't know Keith, at least the name, right? So met with Keith, promised him the special acid called Sunshine.
Sunshine
on my shoulder makes me happy. So Keith, of course, like, fuck yeah, invited him to his estate in Sussex. Sussex. They had like a weekend-long fucking bash. It was Mick and Keith. Marianne Faithfull, Mick Jagger's girlfriend at the time, was there, of course.
Her name is Marianne Faithfull?
Uh-huh.
What a sweet-ass name.
And George Harrison, our theme song writer, and his wife at the time, Patty Boyd, were there. They're having a great time walking around on the beach, being all groovy, 67 drug time. Sunday evening, end of the weekend, they're back at the house. All of a sudden, the police got a tip-off about a very loud party and planned a raid. Planned it to the point of bringing in, well, they call them bobbies, police officers, from two neighboring boroughs out of this jurisdiction even. Like, they brought in backup for somebody calling in a noise complaint about a party like this.
Yeah, they obviously probably knew that address.
Right.
They're like, oh, dude, we got to check. Everyone wants to get on board when they hear a celebrity's address.
Exactly. No, I think more like they wouldn't have got people, like they called in extra backup from other areas. So obviously they were just like, okay, we're going to get a call. This is going to be the big bust. They knew it. They were just fucking waiting for it. So Snyderman was still there. Mick and Keith and Marianne were there. And with the police knocked on the door, Keith answered it, and he was met with a warrant. They already had a warrant. You don't show up to a noise complaint with a fucking warrant.
Damn.
So there was definitely something foul going on here. And Keith Richards was so fucking smacked out. He says, quote, "What are these goblins doing here? Are they from another planet?" And so that didn't help his case.
Is that your Keith Richards impression?
Yeah, he just fucked on me. He just fucking. Mick Jagger was allegedly performing a sexual act on Marianne Faithfull that involved a Mars bar.
Whoa.
Nice.
That was an absolute myth. That was bullshit, but the press heard it and ran with it because they needed to make this as debaucherous as possible.
Yeah.
This needed to be Caligula.
And Mars Bar was the best that they had?
If you're
I get it. Like
if
some
you're
fat guy trying
performing
to write up.
cunnilingus and penetrating someone with a Mars bar, I mean that's
All right, we got a phone call
It's a bit
coming
fucked
in.
up.
Let's
Got a caller coming in. Caller.
Can you hear us? Caller.
Yeah, I'm listening. You keep fucking impersonating me. Go on, man. Don't be a cunt.
We've got Keith Richards on the line.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling, Keith Richards.
you-
Yes, indeed. How are you?
fucking great, man. So what's new with you, man?
Oh, you're all trotting about and everything, huh?
Yeah, are you back home in England? Are you calling us from England?
No, I'm calling you from E6 and Pinellas in Austin.
no shit. You're in Austin.
Dude, he's in town. That's he's the East
What are you
6th
in
Street.
town for?
Yeah, it's this guy named Doc. He's been letting me crash on his couch for about a week. Hang on, I'm going to put him on the phone. Hang on, I got to take a hit. Sorry, guys.
What's
What's
up?
up?
It
Sorry
looks like
about
we got.
that. I can't.
What's Doc?
I can't get him off the couch.
Well, because he can't stand up, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, in my house, most people don't stand up.
Doc, what's
That's
new with you, man?
hospitality
It's
right
good
there.
to hear you again, man.
Yeah, man, it's good to call in. I told you I would.
Yeah,
Much
fucking
appreciated.
dude.
What's going on today? What's the argument? What's the bullshit?
Well, Nick over here is explaining to us about rock and roll conspiracies. So you heard that we're talking about
okay.
the Rolling Stones and how they were denied entry into the U.S. Due to this
They
little
got this
raid that
drug raid.
happened. So we're in the middle of that
Yeah,
right
but
now.
he got.
Fucking Keith is still yelling back there.
Yeah, he is.
He sounds
Okay,
Surprised he
so,
can remember it.
he sounds pretty pissed off about it.
All right, so what about the Led Zeppelin fish orgy?
Oh, yeah. See, we're only doing a few. We can't get them all at once. But the quote, I put a snapper in her snapper, is that the story that you were referring to?
Yes, sir.
Yes, well aware.
Where are you having a drink right now? Are you at Grackle? Oh.
What's that?
Are you at the Grackle right now?
No, I'm still in my fucking kimono, man. I haven't left the house.
Oh, he's hanging out.
And
He's
my
at home.
kimono
You were
bought
the
a
first
car.
people that I've spoken to who isn't. You were the first people I've spoken to who isn't my cat.
I've had days like that, man. Plenty of days where that's all I've talked to is my kitty.
Sometimes mine won't even talk to me.
Yeah.
She's like a
I
cat.
just go, you shithead.
That usually gets a reaction.
What do with it?
Look at you.
All right.
Shit,
Well,
mate.
you guys got anything you want me to bullshit about, or should I just hang up?
What's new, man? Give us something. What other rock and roll conspiracies?
Radio
might-
silence.
Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
I don't
Yeah, I
think
can hear you now.
Oh, I don't know what happened. We were there.
I swear,
Well, I don't know.
I swear to God,
Sorry
we
about
is.
that. Well, we're just having some technical challenges at the moment, I guess. But can you hear us
I
all right?
think you have mental challenges as well.
Ah,
Yes,
probably.
I'm sure there's some peppered in there.
How dare you talk to me like that?
Okay, so let me ask the three of you: are you Stones or Beatles guys?
Oh, I can tell you right now that I'm definitely a Beatles guy.
I'm definitely Beatles, but Stones are pretty fucking awesome.
See, I was going to say Beatles, but I don't want to be the one to make it all the same, so fuck that. I'm Stones.
You got a lot of Stones coming in
right.
here saying that. What about you, Doc?
Yo!
What
I'm
about,
a Stones guy.
why is that?
Because Exile's a fucking perfect
well-
album.
What's that?
I said, because Exile's a fucking perfect album. Sticky Fingers
It's
is badass.
fucking brilliant, and
Yeah.
almost none of the Stones actually played on it.
Maybe that's why.
How about that?
Holy shit, this is really good. Oh, they're not on it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. The Beatles were always a little too safe for me.
Yep. See, that's what we were saying.
I always
that's
that.
That's part of the reason why the FBI was trying to keep the Stones out of him. You get on out of him. We don't like you. Now, if you were just cross-dressers, we'd be okay. J. Edgar Hoover reference, but
But you look like a lady.
yeah,
But
you look like a lady out in public. I just look like one in my own room. There's the difference.
Oh, we're getting another call from Arlington.
Thank you, Mr. Hoover.
Yes.
All right, Doc. We're
getting another call.
We're gonna catch this other call. Thanks for calling,
right.
man. We love you, man.
Take care,
love
sir.
You guys too. Piss off. Stay strong.
That's right. Later. All right.
Oh, motherfucker.
All right.
Hello?
You're on the air. Emergency exit. Who am I talking to?
Hey.
Hi.
Got someone listening to some Primus in the
we
background.
do.
Sounds like.
I mean, who do you think, though?
I don't know. Who are we talking to? Who is this?
Me?
It's your sister.
It ain't my
Oh,
sister.
it's my sister.
Ah. This is jamming some. All right, some
I'm very
Primus.
intrigued
Are you jamming?
by
Are you
guys
jamming the
talk-
Primus? Is that what we're hearing?
That's pork
Say
soda.
what?
Are you jamming the
That's
Primus?
It's definitely Primus.
No, I'm just talking to you on my speakerphone because my phone sucks ass and I can't hear out of it.
Are you playing? Is it
that-
playing through your phone?
Would
Maybe.
that be mine?
I mean,
So hey,
yeah.
take it off speakerphone.
Okay, fine. I took it off speakerphone. I probably won't be able to hear you, but let's give it a go.
You can't hear me. Why can't you hear me?
Well, you know,
'Cause her phone's
once
messed
upon a
up,
time, I spilled water on my phone, and now
Ah.
it doesn't really work.
So are you watching live as we speak?
I am. I'm very intrigued. I'm making a lot of inappropriate comments in your chat, but you know.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
say they're inappropriate.
Yeah, Brandon's keeping up on those. So what?
I mean, could they be any more inappropriate than the shit we say anyway?
So what's on your mind then, Roxanne? That's my sister, Roxanne.
Nothing much. I'm intrigued by your rock and roll conspiracy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just
And the
thought
Mars
I'd
bars.
throw one in the bucket for y'all to touch on whenever.
All right.
you
What
got?
you got?
Debunk the whole Paul McCartney is actually,
dead.
like, the real Paul McCartney is actually dead.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
talked about doing that one many times, and the problem with doing that is it's a visual. It's more visual than it is audible because they show lots of pictures, and that's how they kind of go. Look how he looks the same as this Billy Preston or whatever, whoever's
Billy
playing-
Shears.
Billy Shears, that's right. So it's a tough one, but we can try. What do you
Yeah,
think, Nick?
definitely get into that.
Yeah,
I did a report on it in high school.
you did a report.
Yeah. So that could be.
Cool.
Hey,
There we
Roxanne,
go.
can you hear this?
Oh, hi, Mark.
I can barely hear you guys as it is.
How about?
a little
Oh, well, because she's got her. You can put us on speakerphone if you want, so that you can hear us better. But that means you have to speak
What?
closer to the mic.
Well, I mean, I'm like, I switched gears. I'm good now, I guess.
You can go on speakerphone if you want.
No, it's okay. I don't want to be that guy.
All right.
But
Anything else you want to
what y'all
say?
drinking on tonight? I kind of tuned in late. Oh shit.
Ah,
We're not
what are we
doing.
drinking on?
We're not doing a brew order today. We're drinking our normal Miller Lite, which gets a 4 out of 5. That's right with me, I believe. I think it's the only 5 out of 5 beer
That
that
I have ever
Nick has
given
ever
just to prove
rated.
that I have great taste.
Well, I guess
That's-
it's not thirsty goat, so you know.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's fucking right. Well, thanks for calling. Anything else you want to say, Roxanne, before we go?
No, that's all. Just love
All
the
right.
show, and it's all right.
All
Don't
right, we'll
forget-
get around to this Paul McCartney thing.
Yeah, don't forget to give us a 5-star like on that iTunes if you get the chance.
Oh, always do.
Yeah, and she's gonna send us a wedding invitation to her wedding. So we'll go
Yeah,
Are we going to do a
all
live
the
show
guys
from
are
the wedding?
invited.
do it a live show.
That's a good idea.
From the Greer, love the Greer wedding.
Trying to go through the ceremony and I just start screaming shit in the background. That would be terrible. I wouldn't do that.
All right, Roxanne, thank you for calling. We'll
All right.
keep listening. We love you.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right,
right.
2 calls. That's awesome. Okay.
Calls.
So the Mars bar.
Mars bar?
Not true. That has been
Oh, right, that didn't go.
that has been falsified.
Mars bar
There
and the
was
pooper.
no Mars bar sex act. However, it was personified in the show Californication.
Really?
And the 6th season, Hank Moody ran around with a rock star.
Was that Mulder?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the rock star that he was touring around with had a thing where he kept putting the Mars bar in his mouth and then penetrating.
And he kept saying that's like an homage to...
No, he didn't. It was just his thing. But obviously they were doing an homage to this.
Why a Mars bar?
Man, I don't know. He didn't like Snickers? I can't answer this.
Yeah.
A Snickers is just a Mars bar with peanuts, right?
Maybe he has a nut allergy.
There you go.
Could be.
But it's also made in a factory with peanuts, so you'd stay away from it either way if you're allergic to peanuts.
Maybe he just doesn't want to be eating nuts out of her.
You see? Yeah, it could be.
He should be the only
Or
nuts
that
go
was
in
the
there.
one available.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's
what?
the only...
That was the only
was
one
the only
available.
candy?
And you
Yeah.
know, you don't want to be like, hang on, stay in freaky mode for like 10 minutes. Let me run to the store. Please be kinky and willing when I get back.
it could have been a whatchamacallit.
It could have been whatchamacallit. I'm going to stick this whatchamacallit in your whatchamacallit.
Could have been Twix. He put one in one both.
All right. So anyway, no Mars bar, so it doesn't matter. The main point of this is that Acid King Dave was not searched and he was allowed to leave.
Just bailed out?
Like, he was there when the cops came in, but he got out scot-free. Like, as they were doing the arrests and everything, he was nowhere to be found. So it kind of makes it seem like he was a part of it. And they're like, yeah, cool, thanks for the tip-off, mate. Now bugger off.
We got
That's
your
right.
back. Fuck off.
So they only focused on Mick and Keith, and they found very little. They found some scrapings of hashish off of a table, and 4 amphetamine-based pills.
Amphetamine-based.
Amphetamine-based. And Mick's jacket, which weren't even his. They were Marianne Faithfull's, and she had put them in and forgot about them. They were like...
Sure.
not even from that weekend of drugs and partying, like from fucking months ago or whatever.
No,
like,
those girls never bought their own drugs. Are you kidding me? They never had their own drugs.
But she had says like, no, they were even mine, and I left him in his coat like fucking months ago.
Of course, she said that.
Yeah, no, but from a long time ago, like they had just been in his coat forever. It wasn't like they were part of anything. They were just anyway. Not that Mick Jagger needs people to stand up for him, so it doesn't seem like he has drugs around. I don't think that's ever been. Anyway, so 4 pills and some random remnants of hashish off of a table, and that's all they found. Now, according to Philip Norman's book, he says there was a bag of acid brought by Snyderman that was left on the table, and for some reason that wasn't part of this. Like, they looked past that because it was Snyderman's, it was their inside boys.
Yeah, acid just looks like either it's on paper or just a little jar of water or something.
So, but still, I mean, that'd be something you'd look for. So anyway, it was not a good bust, but it was enough of a bust to ruin visas, which is all they needed. They just needed to block the visa. So in June of '67, they went to court, and it was called a complete show trial. It took less than an hour. Judge Block, he seemed just adamantly against the Stones from the first minute. Just boom, guilty, fuck off. Mick got 3 months for his amphetamines. Keith Richards got a year. He got a year. He was charged with, quote, allowing his house to be used for the smoking of marijuana. And he got a year.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
So, they got hauled off to jail. Now, what saved them was an editorial in this conservative magazine called The Times. William Rees-Mogg wrote an editorial, said this is about as mild a drug case as has ever been brought before the courts. And it's got to be pretty suspicious in this case that Jagger got a more severe sentence than would have been thought proper for any purely anonymous young man. It's purely the fact that they had such stature that you're trying to make an example out of them, and you would not have done this for anybody else. And this is absurd. And due to it being like a very conservative paper doing this.
Just going to say, that came from a conservative.
Yeah. Keith Richards' sentence of a year was completely overturned, and Jagger was given conditional discharge, which is not a result of an STD. It means he's got a year of a probation, essentially, and if he gets any offense during that year, then the pill charge is going to be added back onto it.
Yeah. Nice.
So that was it. Kind of a slap on the wrist, and by 1969, the Stones had their visas and were touring the United States, as they still are to this day. Just as a little footnote. Since then, they have found official documents about that raid detailing that they did search Acid King Snyderman and found massive amounts of drugs found on him to the point where he seemed like a mobile pharmacist.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so this was even in the official police report, but still, he was not there at the arrest. He was not ever charged with anything. He was completely let go scot-free.
He was FBI, son.
So he was absolutely in on it. And
he
like,
was FBI.
So they claim that no, they were just reacting to this tip, but you don't get a tip about something and like call in multiple other police agencies and get a warrant. Like, how do you get a warrant that same, like, on a Sunday night that fucking quick? You were ready.
Yeah, dude, that is...
So that was definitely a tip-off by Acid King David Snyderman. Fucking thought Canadians were better than that, man.
You know, some of them are.
Ratting them out and
This
shit.
whole FBI thing, you know, they couldn't even get that taken care of, you know? So
No, well, again, they don't operate over there. So they, like, once it got to the court system, they had
nothing
they could do about it.
Fucking A.
So, I mean, again, that's why I don't understand why that was the agency behind this.
Wouldn't they have thought of that?
Yeah, right? Like, isn't that your job? Intelligence?
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't know.
Well,
so,
yeah, they got to investigate that kind of shit. Well, I
Either
guess
way-
that's what they did. They investigated it, and they figured it out. Oh, I guess we can't do that.
yeah, or maybe they weren't even behind it. Maybe it was purely just the London police force wanting to get him, you know? And it could not have gone any farther than that. And they had more faith in their legal system. Or they didn't count on that one editorial changing opinion so much, I guess. Because it had worked up to that point.
Yeah, all you need to do is stir it up a bit.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so kind of like not too deep into stuff, but that's our first one.
Oh, more.
Yeah, I got one more.
Explain it to me.
All right. So this one's about Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison. What
Now
did
he
do this
was
time?
living with his girlfriend Pamela.
Pamela.
I can't see the name Pamela without thinking
Pamela.
of Borat. Oh, my Pamela.
My Pamela.
Pamela.
They're my slacker.
So as the story goes, she said, "I'm going off to bed now," and he's like, "No, I'm going to stay up and get more fucked up because I'm Jim Morrison." And she got up like hours later, and he still wasn't in bed. She went around and found him dead in the bathtub. And so the story is
Jim Morrison.
Jim
Name
Morrison.
sounds familiar. I'm kidding.
Oh, I was like, are you fucking
We were about to stare down. I was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not gonna test him.
So, like, everybody figured he was just so fucked up at the hot bath due to poor diet and excessive drinking and drug use. It was just too much for his heart.
It gave out.
And it gave out.
Makes sense.
Now, Sam Burnett, manager of a local club called the Rock and Roll Circus, claims, many years after the fact, claims that Jim Morrison did not die of a heart attack in a bathtub. He died as a lonely junkie on a toilet of his rock and roll club.
At the guy's club.
At the club.
That's a big claim there.
He himself found Jim Morrison in the men's room on a toilet with foam around his lips and blood coming out of his nose. So, to back this up a bit, Jim got himself in trouble for exposing himself in Florida.
Right.
And
my man.
While he was out on bail in March of 1971, he ran off to Paris, which is fucking smart. Like, just skip the country while I'm...
They got to extradite him.
Yeah. So he's hanging out in Paris with Pamela, and he started frequenting the Rock and Roll Circus. He came in regularly, and he was already smashed by the time he got there, and just started pounding vodka drinks until he was so drunk, like he couldn't even speak. Couldn't form words anymore. But they lived, like, apparently their place was close enough, like, he could stumble to it and stumble back. Like, it was maybe a block or something.
Okay.
So, 4 months after arriving and becoming such a regular, the official story was that he drank himself to death. But there was no autopsy. The doctor showed up, was quick to just go, "Oh, this is an American hippie, and I don't want anything to do with it. I don't care if he's famous." So they just, he had a heart attack because of his heavy drinking and a hot bath. Signed the papers, and that was it. Like, no official autopsy or anything. It was all
they're
done
just like,
on the
oh,
spot.
it's probably this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
So Sam's like, "Nope, he died in my club," and then the body was moved so the police wouldn't raid the club.
Oh.
Because heroin was becoming a big deal in Paris. Pamela was a super junkie, like daily usage on this stuff. So Sam claims the night that Morrison died, he'd come into the circus to score some H for Pamela. Right? So he sat at the bar for a while, and his head was moving like he was kind of nervous, looking around for people. And two guys, presumably local dealers, because they're in a lot, came in, sat on either side of him, and they're thought to work for this guy named Count Jean de Breteuil. I don't know how you French that up. Anyway,
Sounded good enough to me.
he was having an affair with who other than Marianne fucking Faithfull, coming back in.
Oh shit! Really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
She must be a
Full
little bit
circle.
of-
Yeah.
She gets around.
Apparently, the lesson of this story is do not hook up with Marianne Faithfull, because shit goes wrong.
Well, I feel like if her name is Faithful, you need to question that right away.
Yeah, right. No shit. So he was sleeping with her as well as the main supplier for like extremely potent heroin.
So she
To the
knew
Paris
things,
thing.
yeah.
And so these guys were working for him, and they came in, sat with Jim, blah, blah, blah. He got up and went to the bathroom to sample it.
Okay,
And
that's it.
allegedly snorted it, which snorting heroin is
If you ever
not-
watched
not good.
Pulp Fiction,
right.
Yeah, yeah.
When you think you're snorting coke and you do heroin instead,
You need
you end up like
EpiPen in the
Uma Thurman
heart.
did, which... Guess what happened? Yes, that's exactly what happened to him. Hours later, they're like, where the fuck is he? Sam went back there. There he was sitting on the toilet, just drooling and bleeding.
shit himself.
Probably so. So in his book, The End, of course it's the end.
This is the
Yeah.
end. I'm
Sam,
sitting on the toilet and I died.
Sam says the Count's dealers wanted to make the body disappear, obviously.
Of course.
And Sam was like, no, man, we can't fucking do that. This is a dead guy. Not only that, it's a dead celebrity. We got to go through the proper channels with this. And he called the owner of the club and explained the situation, and the owner said, it's a high-profile death, and he was worried about an ensuing investigation and them finding out that he also was kind of a front for the heroin business.
wow.
So he said, quote, if his friends want to take him back home, let them do it. So Sam's
Damn.
like, I guess you're doing that. So they rolled him up in a blanket, took him out the back door, stuffed him in a car, took him back to the apartment, stripped his clothes off, threw him in the bath,
And that's
ran a hot bath, thinking that it would delay rigor mortis, kind of at least cloud the time of death just a little bit, and left him for Pam to find, where she found him in the morning.
Did they? Do you think that they like ran the water first and then put him in, or did they like sit him in there and then run?
I would think they set him in there, because if they had the water in it and then put a dead body in, that's going to splash all
Did
over
they
the
have to
fucking
wait a
place.
while for it to fill up with water? How long does that take?
I don't fucking know. Man, it would depend on how big the tub is, what their water pressure was.
5-10 minutes.
At least,
Maybe.
yeah.
This-
I mean, the whole ordeal, I would imagine just transporting the body. If
That
they
would
were
take
like
a while.
Week, if not a week, if they were a block away,
It was
I don't
close
know,
enough that
maybe
he could walk it.
40 minutes.
Because you got to haul the car out, or haul the body out to the car. The drive itself wouldn't take very long.
All
but
this
then
while
It's carrying it, and
Pamela's-
they had to go upstairs.
all this. Well, Pamela also is a junkie, so she's probably not just asleep. She's probably fucking
Heroin
smacked out.
sleeping. Yeah,
So
yeah.
to get him in there and do that. So like,
Damn.
nobody knows who these two guys are. They were never going to get their story, and they took him out the back, so there aren't any of the patrons can come and confirm this. So the only
And nobody saw anything else like along the way carrying up a
apparently not. All we have
gold
is
carpet late at night.
Sam's word, and he claims he's the one who found him.
Well, we got to take him at his word then.
I guess that's what we got. He wasn't didn't just heart attack.
What do you think?
I mean, I wouldn't be at all fucking surprised, but like, it seems like a lot of unnecessary work for two heroin dealers to like go to this length. You know, you could get rid of a body a lot of different ways.
Think about what they did in Pulp Fiction, referencing that movie again. When who was it? Marvin's
Marvin,
body?
yeah,
like just what they went through trying to get rid of it. I mean, kind of a different
Well,
circumstance.
yeah, they didn't
I
have to
guess,
clean out the
but-
interior of a car that had brains all over it in
True,
this case.
yeah,
but
yeah.
like, there's a lot of things you could do with it.
But
that,
there's also
that
a
don't
lot of-
involve the club. Like, drive them a few blocks away and dump them in an alley, and they'll still find him and go, "Oh shit, he OD'd while he's being a drunken fucking loser," which is all he's been for months in Paris anyway.
Well, maybe they thought, okay, where would he have been? And start asking
True.
questions and be like, oh, well, he's known to frequent this club.
Right.
And, you know, so
I guess.
You know,
They
finding
need to-
him at home in his bath would be like, oh, he was here. He was conscious enough to at least draw the
And he
bath,
was there when Pamela went to bed. She's
Yeah.
confirmed that. So I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Then, no, he was just here and died. No need to go any further. And nobody knows about the Rock and Roll Circus's heroin trade. So there we go.
Dude, not bad. It makes me thought. I was thinking about the Kurt Cobain conspiracy theory episode 2 that we did. That we should revisit one of these days.
Yeah?
Yeah, that could be a
Is
cool.
that a heroin cover-up as well?
Well, not really heroin cover up, but definitely had a lot of it in his system.
Right.
You know? Way more than you could put in your system, I'm sure, and still
operate
able to
a
shoot
gun.
a gun at your face.
Yeah.
But hey, Nick, thanks for explaining that to us.
I mean,
man.
we got some more coming up. I got some other ones.
Yeah, we're gonna be putting them up on our network. We have a network you're listening to us from, and Nick's gonna be more drunken and tell us just plain shit. So here's the theme one more time. Nick-splains. With Los and Brand. All right, let's go to the news.
Got the news with Nick and Los, that's right. We coming at you, coming with the light. We got the news, we've got the news. We've got the news, we've got the news, yeah. We got the news with Nick and Los.
And Brandon, that's right.
That's right.
So, 2 of the 5 women who came forward to accuse James Franco of inappropriate sexual behavior sat down with Good Morning America's Amy Robach to elaborate on their allegations against the actor and to discuss why they went public. Are you familiar with James Franco's allegations, Nick the Passion Writer?
I have seen mention of it, but I'm not as familiar.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about it.
All right.
Sarah Tilther, Kaplan, and Violet Paley appeared on nervous but doubled down on why they chose to come forward, saying that Franco took advantage of his fame, his status, to prey on younger women in the acting classes he taught. So yeah, he was teaching this like masterclass. He was a professor at a school. I forgot if I said that where it was, but it doesn't matter. It was like UC Berkeley or something, I bet.
Okay.
Anyways.
And this is confirmed like that is the thing he really did?
I don't know. He just knows what's going on. Is Franco's not saying anything, and he's just expecting the backlash. He's ready to, deal with it. So this sounds like he already knew it, and these ladies are just kind of throwing it out there. Here's what happened. They spoke candidly about their experiences with their experience in the quote sex scenes masterclass taught by Franco, saying that the scenes in which she participated, added after they'd received their original scripts, by the way, often seemed gratuitous or exploitive.
Oh, I got it.
Paley was...
Wait, so they get like a play, or they get something they're supposed to work on.
Yeah.
And after they got it, he would add in...
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Like an absurd sex scene. Why was the teacher involved in the student scenes anyway?
Well, it's a master actor like James Franco, and
right. But you watch the scene and then you give input, but you're not in the scene itself.
Maybe he wasn't like in the scene, but rather like acted like this is how you should do it, and like did a little bit of it first, and then like
or maybe just making them
come to do what I just did.
Do stuff on each other for his joint viewing pleasure or something.
Here's something weird though. One of the girls was in a consensual relationship with Franco, but elaborated on the incident she tweeted about during the Golden Globes after seeing Franco's time-up pin on his lapel, saying that she was regretful and that Franco was, quote, a celebrity I looked up to. So what do you think there? He's now just saying like, I'm regretful that he has that pin on and knows what it stands for, and after all that stuff that he's done.
Then how was she looking up to him if he'd done shit to her?
It was a celebrity that I looked up to.
Until she took the class and got...
Well, no, she was seeing him. They were in a consensual relationship, and the only reason why she's like pissed off now is because she saw the lapel pin, that time up, time's up for you guys. Mm-hmm. And she got pissed off, said that she's regretful. He was a celebrity I looked up to, and knowing that that's the kind of stuff he was doing, I guess he might have known, or she might have known that he was doing that to other girls.
That still dated him?
Sure. When asked by Robach whether or not Franco's behavior puts him at the level of Harvey Weinstein, Tither Kaplan was empathetic in making a distinction between various inappropriate behaviors, offering a nuanced take on sexual assault, violence, and harassment. He is not an unfeeling monster who has no sense of reality. He created exploitative environments for non-celebrity women on his sets, and I also think James is a talented and valuable person. It is a pyramid, and at the top is rape and sexual violence, and at the bottom are the other abuses of power that, when they continue to happen over and over, build and build and build and create a culture that allows the most heinous examples of sexual violence and misogyny and discrimination to happen. Even if we allow them, we're allowing all of them. There's a mouthful there. Franco's rep has denied any wrongdoing throughout the entire accusation cycle, telling Good Morning America that the allegations are not accurate. Accuracy aside, let's say whatever we want. It seems that the girls are looking for something so painfully simple that it is truly mind-blowing that he has not been able to produce it. An apology. So all they want is an apology, but that sort of lends to being guilty, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ain't that a bitch? You got some news, man?
Yeah, I just got one story for you, but I don't know you're gonna hit me just like that.
I just wanted to ask Franco something real quick.
Anyway, how is your sex life?
Ooh.
Oh.
Not consensual, maybe? I don't know.
Now ain't that a bitch?
Yeah.
New Orleans. We know it for Mardi Gras, right? Fat
Mardi
Tuesday.
Gras.
Isn't that what it is? Fat Tuesday?
The razzle dazzle.
Well, and throwing of the beads, but guess what? City officials in New Orleans. Did I do that right?
Nolans, I guess.
Yeah.
You can't say that. You're not allowed to say that.
All right, fine, whatever. Anyway, they pulled more than 46 tons of carnival beads out of their pretty much their sewers.
They did?
And their overflow. Yeah, just from people throwing them down. I guess they break and people just let them fall, and then
I can imagine
they get washed into the gutters, and eventually they all collect somewhere. 46 tons off the top of your head. Anybody know how many pounds that is?
46 tons.
93,000 pounds.
93. I was going to say that.
But it was also among 7.2 million pounds of other debris that had blocked
like
up
shit
before.
and
Yeah,
puke.
exactly.
Well, yeah, and just fucking bodies or
grossest.
who knows what. Probably all sorts of bras, I bet.
A couple feet.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of things. Probably
Lots
like
of bras,
some
yeah.
hats. I'm
Panties.
sure.
Stupid ass glasses.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Novelty sunglasses things. Jimmy Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa might be
He
down there.
might be. You never know. Danny Galloway, interim director of the city's Department of Public Works, said once you hear a number like that, there's no going back. So we've got a lot better. So we've got to do better. Sorry, in reference to all the. Hang on, I got some audio.
All the beading.
All the beads. Yeah, that's a shit ton of beads, man. 68,000 storm drains.
Going on?
It says that the cleanup effort lasted from late September to late January.
The bead tradition.
Oh shit! Probably as long as Mardi Gras has been around.
Well, right. So
What's the
that's
history
a
of
lot
Mardi
of
Gras?
beads.
I don't
But if
know.
it's going on for 60 years, I mean it's cumulative, right?
Sure.
Probably as long as the sewer lines have been around.
Yeah.
As long as they've been making plastic beads.
And majority of the beads were found
Totes.
along the St. Charles Avenue parade route. So, yeah, it makes sense. They just all
So
get
what are they
washed
doing
into the
about it?
same-
Do they want to keep like producing those
They're
things?
probably gonna ban them.
Well, I've got a simpler answer. You just make them out of biodegradable material, and they'll just like dissolve or something. If they're just going to be thrown around,
Right.
You can make them out of like paper, or you can make them, out of
Make them
like,
out of
corn.
Starburst wrappers. You ever see people that do that? Make necklaces out of Starburst wrappers and link them
those
together.
dissolve easily? Would those break down?
No,
don't know.
probably
Got
not.
wax
Those
on
are kind
them.
of waxy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, either way, hey, how about just eliminate the beads and just show your tits?
Right?
I mean, that's simple. Keep it simple, guys.
Just cut out the middleman.
Yeah, exactly. Because after they get so many beads, you can't
see them anyway.
You lose nippage.
You lose nippage.
You lose your nippage.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point.
Just lose nippage.
No, that of seeing boobs is
Well, yeah, you want the nippage because
Right.
It's
and if
not,
it's all covered up by thousands of beads,
or
well, then
even a little pasty, it's like, oh, well, that's just a lot of side. and
I just feel
underboob.
like I'm watching any TV show on FX right now.
But then you get a little bit of that nip, and it's like, ooh, it's 1:30 in the morning on Skinamax.
All right, this is back when I had scrambled cable.
Oh, I remember them days. Oh yeah,
Just waiting for that fuzz to clear up just enough.
just a little bit. If you maybe move that antenna a little bit
Yeah.
and get a little bit more, I'm like, oh, I think that was a nipple or a knee. Maybe
Yeah.
it was a knee.
I'm going with nipple.
Yeah.
I need this.
Yeah. So
Being a pubescent boy is hard. All the time.
back then, I think. Now it's fucking simple, easy. You got ready.
Are you
access.
still in puberty?
A little bit.
Okay,
A little
that's
bit.
fair.
Still there. So
Oh, you mean for pubescent boys now? Nowadays? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I thought you meant now for you, but... Oh, yeah. I mean,
it comes and goes in waves for me. I haven't quite topped out yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's very very weird.
Well, IKEA founder, he died. He died in Sweden at the age of 91.
So that's the place with the meatballs, right?
Yeah.
Used to be.
How funny that you mentioned that, because now we don't even have
We
that
took
on
that
the
off.
I know. One time that we would have fucking used it, we took it off.
That's why I said it.
What
You
a
son
dick.
of a bitch.
Well, the Swedish founder of IKEA furniture chain, Ingvar Kamprad, has died at the age of 91. The company has announced it. That happened sometime just yesterday. Mr. Kamprad, who pioneered flat furniture, died at his home in Småland. IKEA confirmed in a statement. So he died, man. It sucks. The billionaire was born. He turned into a billionaire. Crazy. He was born in
course he did, dude.
1926. Founded IKEA at the age of 17. He used some money his father had given him as a gift for performing well at his school despite his dyslexia. Oh, so it's like, you do good, I'll give you a couple dollars. And
No wonder those instructions were bullshit. The guy was dyslexic.
That makes sense.
that's why they only have pictures, yeah. In the later years of his life, Mr. Kamprad faced questions over his past links to fascist groups, something he admitted but said was a quote-unquote mistake. And that got me to look into that a little bit.
As long as you're denouncing.
In 1943, Ingvar Kamprad was a 17-year-old budding entrepreneur selling Utterbomb picture frames and other small-town wares from his home in rural Sweden. That year, he founded a mail-order company called IKEA, initials taken after his name and that of his family's farm. His first employee was his close friend Otto. Oh, so that's you can get yourself an Otto from there. It's pretty cool. Ullman, an Austrian Jew about his age, whose parents who had sent him to Sweden to escape Nazi takeover from their country. Those two guys, their camaraderie was an unlikely one. Around the same time he started IKEA, Kamprad joined Sweden's fascist movement. He regularly attended
worked with an
meetings
Austrian Jew.
Yeah,
There.
with pro-Nazi extremist groups. Maintained a long-running friendship with a leading Swedish fascist, and according to some accounts, was an active member of the Swedish version of the Hitler Youth. My goodness.
Damn. Fuck you, IKEA.
So it also says here that they were going to bury him, but they're still trying to put together his coffin there. It seems like it was missing the instructions and a few screws.
Did it not come with a little hex tool?
And it was missing the hex tool.
The universal Allen wrench thing?
Yeah, man. Shit. Well, I got an IKEA. I signed up for the IKEA catalog, so I got one of those, and I want to do some mail-in stuff and get a couple of it. But I saw they got like, well, that's an IKEA thing right there. They cut it open, and it was just like corrugated cardboard, just like with paneled on it. Crazy, man.
Dude,
Well,
it's incredibly cheap. That's why it's like the best thing for college students.
Yeah.
Like, you need a dresser, you can get one for $20, or you can get a real dresser for like $600. I mean, obviously, what are you going to do?
Well, yeah.
Give me the $20.
Go away, of course.
Fucking A right. And when it breaks, you can get a bunch of them before you
$20 one.
Still cheaper than buying a real one.
It's fucking capitalism.
Or pro tip: you buy the unfinished furniture
and paint it yourself.
Paint it, stain it yourself. I
I
personally
did,
have done that
the
several
same
times.
thing, man.
Yeah,
And it's a good little project.
Yeah, it is.
Fucking A. No, you got anything else there, Brandon?
No, I'm good.
All right, let's get some outro music working here. You guys, thank you so much for, doing your thing. If you guys have any calls, we're going to be shutting off the line after we get off the air.
But leave us a message.
But you can absolutely leave us a message. Thank you, Nick.
Any time of the day, too.
You can also text. We get the text as well. And the number again is 830-875-0637.
That is correct.
Check us out on iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating. Give us a rating altogether there. You know, why not? Tell your friends, because I think February, yep, that's right. February is Tell a Friend About Emergency Exit Podcast Month.
Yeah, I believe that was officially announced.
Yeah, I think the mayor said that sometime last week. It was cool. I was like, oh, man, once again, another month for us. If you want to check out Nick Ryder, check him out on his Twitter at Ryder Guitar.
That's right.
That's right.
Guitar.
We're also on Twitter. Check us out at EMEXPod. Follow us on Facebook. Give us a like.
You know what? Any of the things, you can just go to that thing and search for Emergency Exit Podcast.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure we'll pop up somehow.
I wasn't feeling too good today, but this definitely helped me feel a lot better.
Good.
So I'm happy that it's been another good episode. So for Nick Ryder, for Brandon, the Hard Hat Mitchell, I'm Low saying, that's right.